Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the weekly Q&A call on the Speaker Focus platform. I am CEO Kevin T. Robertson, here with co-founder, CTO Auston Troyer. We will be taking calls. We will be taking questions, I should say, on the weekly Q&A call. First up, I believe we got Michael has a question already. Michael, what is your question, sir? A lot of talk.
I am unmuted. Can you hear me?
Got you, boss. Yes, sir. I hear you.
Austin, are you able to look at the email that I sent you a minute ago?
Yep. 1 second here. Okay. Okay, the signature program one you just sent?
Yeah, you had asked me on a discussion post if I would drop the titles in, and I apologize that I never got to that. I made a switch in my jobs at my work, and it was overwhelming, and it took me about a week and a half to get up to speed. So I didn't even get that for about a week. And so I just sent you what I have so far, and I'm gonna start to tweak this. Me and Kevin discussed it over the telephone about a week ago. Actually, it's been about 2 weeks. And him and I, we're not in disagreement. He has a formula. I printed out a bunch of materials, Kevin, since we talked. I didn't realize the resources. And I like how you say, just trust the process and get through it and wait until the end, more will be revealed. Because at the very end, there was a whole list of resources that I could print out. And sure enough, I have a bunch of stuff that I can go through, and it provides a lot more clarity.
Right.
But there's kind of the gist of what I was thinking, and it doesn't necessarily fit kind of the algebraic equation that Kevin looks to come up with, say, the headline or the way that the signature title should lay out. But I do understand now what we're trying to get at, and how Kevin's moving us into being a particular type of speaker, like a leadership speaker. And at first, I struggled with that because it's like, well, hold on now. I want to be motivational. I want to use my story, from rock bottom, and that you can accomplish anything. But are they hiring that? And do I want to make an income? Well, I want to make a difference, but I would like to make an income, make a difference is fine if I never make an income. So, but then as I look at this leadership programming and having a niche in mental health, and then looking at, like I said in this email, that 37% of people that struggle with mental health issues say that their workplace contributes to it, then there is a real need to get in and help leaders understand that they need to overhaul their workplace to help it be more conducive for those that struggle with mental health issues. So Kevin has literally pushed me into a niche. And since I'm already listed on a speakers bureau for the biggest human resources organization in the world, I am positioned to make that impact. So I'm coming up with these 4 programs, and now I still have a bit to round those into form, and Kevin's going to be able to help me do that. I did read a book. I provided a link. I believe it's a Christian author. The book is called Boundary for Leaders. I have the audio book. The book is fire. I've only gotten through 3 chapters of it, being since Kevin is so into leadership. I suggest, Kevin, you look at this book. It is really, really good. It's very, very simple. I want to email the guy and ask, since there are like John Maxwell, who hires people to be coaches and to spread his message, if Henry Cloud has anybody out there using his material and training for his material, because I want to steal every idea he has, and I'm not going to do that. But if the man will give me his information and just let me kind of go off with his information and speak it, I want to start there, and maybe he'll give me a signature program, so that's it.
Okay. Well, you know what, Michael, let me touch on some things that you discuss. And that was a nice take, by the way. You always give some really good takes. So listen, you talked about, following the formula. Ideally, the reason why I have the formula set up that way is number one is simplicity for people that don't understand the reason why. There's always a reason why, you know, I have these formulas set up this way. There's always a reason for the process. There's always a reason for the system. It's always a reason why, you know, it's always a reason why we want you to be able to follow it. Now, Michael, in your instance, you are very adamant and you're very strong-willed and entrenched in your belief system with the programs the way you describe them. Now, when the student is really wants to go, you know, and it's not really pushing the envelope and going far to the left, but when you want to veer off the path a little bit, the formula is just there to keep you on track and give you some type of idea as far as structure is concerned to the conference coordinator. That does not mean, for instance, Jamal Ali, he had chickens versus eagles, you know, he stripped away the 4 signature programs. We created them, and then he took a second look at it and he said, you know, I think I want to hold off on doing, I don't want it to be in a training format. I just want to deliver 2 keynotes. That's all I want to do. KTR, is that okay? I said, sure, it's okay. How you feel? You feeling really, really strongly about it? So he created the Chickens and Eagles program, his signature program, and then he had another signature program under that he just wanted to deliver as keynotes because he felt like he wanted to work on his facilitation skills. Now, Michael, in your instance, or I should say in your case, your facilitation skills are really, really strong. You do counseling, you provide advice, you know, you transfer knowledge at a very high level on top of having a high motor and being super intelligent. So, you know, I would say that whatever, because I remember on the call that we had, and we had a bit of a difference of how your approach should have been with the signature programs, but I liked it after you told me the direction you were headed in, and then it made sense, and then you knew that you needed an opening paragraph and you needed some bullets to describe it. I'd say just keep chugging along, because when you feel that strong about it in here, I'm not going to be the one to argue with you as long as the programs are structured. When you send them over to me, I'm just going to give you my opinion about them. If they're well written, I'm going to say, go for it. If they need some tweaking, I'm going to say, hey, Michael, take it back to the drawing board. But I feel pretty strongly about everything it is that you said. And I wanted to make sure I comment on that, because I don't want any of you feeling like you can't get your vision out. That's not what this program is about. This program is here to nurture the vision, help mold it and shape it. You know, the structure to the signature programs and the outline is there. So, you know, watch this. Doesn't matter what you call your signature program. Let me just get it real simple. You don't want to follow the something based leadership or the something based empowerment, whatever. If you want to give each one of your signature programs a different title, that's fine. As long as you have an opening paragraph to describe it, and as long as you put some bullets under that to give the key takeaways, the desired outcomes, and the learning objectives, it doesn't really matter to me, as long as the headlines are thought-provoking and disruptive. And Michael, in your case, yours were. Does that make sense what I'm saying? If you're still there, Michael.
Yes, it makes complete sense. And our differences of opinion aren't different, like with the exception of maybe just like the headline is where it's very, there aren't many differences at all. Not many differences at all. I'm very, I work well when I'm given a command precisely. And then if it deviates, then I start to get confused, like, oh crap, it's not exactly the way you're telling me it is. You're the professional, and so it's going to be very, very similar to what you're saying. It just might not be exactly the way you're saying it. There'll be 4 signature programs. I got my website guy doing an overall headline on the program page.
Nice.
It'll be programs instead of services. And eventually my site will eventually have services, because the hope is off speaking will be coaching. And then like you guys have been able to do, hopefully, or a Grant Baldwin or something like that. Maybe I can mentor and teach books and things like that. But for right now, speaking, but we'll do programs. And underneath that's a headline and 4 signature programs. So I'm going to mirror exactly what you guys are telling me to do to a T. So it'll be very, very similar. I love everything you guys are teaching me so far.
Got you. Send the best to the wife for me, please, Michael. As
Yes,
always,
sir.
man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we always welcome your questions. You hit the ground running, and despite having a busy schedule, you're still putting forth the work and the effort, and that's what we want, and that's why we appreciate you. Anybody else have any more questions in on the weekly Q&A call? Until I see, wait a minute, I think I see another hand. No, that was Michael. Got to put his hand down. Let me see. Lower hand. Okay. Anybody else who is waiting? Well, and I didn't get a chance to say this at the beginning because I had some kind of little technical thing my screen was doing there, and I still haven't really been able to fix it, but we're going to keep moving forward anyway. Well, Thanksgiving for everybody. Listen, mine was really, really quiet, and it was relaxing. I got a chance to unplug. I can't say I didn't think about any business that day, but just had a nice quiet dinner. And, I was thankful for a lot of things. And one of the biggest that I was thankful for is, just what's going on with just everybody fighting through adversity. I get a chance to talk to some pretty amazing people. Again, me and Austin, we're not the only ones that's doing big things. We're not the only ones that's pushing our goals. We're not the only ones that's tired, struggling. In a lot of ways, it looks like we have it together, and we are still trying to figure some things out on a higher level, even though we have command over the things we're really good at, like we all do. And that, it's being grateful for the little things. And I always remember that. Like, one of my things is, for me, it's when I'm at the beach and I'm looking at the ducks, when they're flying through the air, then they come in for a landing and they put their feet down and they just glide on the water. I mean, they can't do that enough for me. That shit just makes my day. It makes me happy on it. I don't know what it is about when I look at the ducks fly in and they hit that water like that, but it's being grateful for the little things, right? Because if you can't be grateful for the little things, how you really supposed to appreciate the really, really big things? Like, when I first started, hey, okay, people look at me and they say, okay, KTR has all these repetitions. He's this international keynote speaker and he's a world-class facilitator and all of that. Well, I can remember when I wasn't, right? I can remember when I was grateful. Watch this. As much as I don't really bash it, but as much as I try to keep you away from motivational, inspirational speaking, because I just don't want you to be put in a box as far as your pay is concerned. Of course, I know that that's a part of what we do. There's an inspirational, there's a motivational piece to what all of us do. I'm just talking about from a branding standpoint, but I can remember when I didn't know the difference between anything. I was just grateful when somebody took up a collection. My first real paid speaking engagement was at a singles ministry for a church. And they took up like $56 and some change. I was grateful to get that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm grateful for the speaker folk, every single one of you on the Speaker Focus platform, the students who start. I'm grateful for the ones that schedule time with me who can't afford to do the program right now. Do you know what kind of feeling it is when somebody doesn't have the money in their hands and then they come back because they remember the first call that you had just because you took out some time? And, I try to individualize all these calls based upon the person I'm talking to. So you're talking about grateful. That's what I got out of Thanksgiving. But see, I've learned to live like that every day. I'm grateful for the breaths of life. I'm grateful for the small things because it's in the finite details of building your speaker business. If you can't be grateful about the little things right now, that's what's going to get you to another height in your career. And I want all of you to know that we all have different levels of expertise. All of you, it's mental health professionals. There are customer service professionals. There are people who are technical professionals. We have people on our platform that are engineers, we got people that's out there building shit. It's like incomprehensible with some of the stuff that you do, right? Because that's not my skill set. But, you do it nonetheless, and you do it at a very, very high level. So I can remember when I was a local speaker. And I said, wow, we all want to think about, well, how do you become an international speaker? Before you can even physically carry that out, these opportunities are going to open up and these doors are going to present themselves, and you're going to have to kick that door down. And more importantly, you're going to have to be ready when the door is open. And that's the biggest thing that I saw when I was a local speaker. I was performing at the DC Convention Center, with this big convention center with stuff was popping on the other side of the convention center, but they had this author's pavilion, and then they had like a speaker's pavilion, and they booked me to speak. And I had two people in my audience. I never forget it. Never forget it. It was 1998. Okay. And I had like two people in my audience. And I remember one of the guys that was when I released my first book. It was around 97, 98. And one of the guys was Barry Fletcher, award-winning hairstylist, Barry Fletcher. He was the first person that purchased my book, The Clarity of Focus, for $14.95. And out of that, I got a long lasting relationship with Barry Fletcher, did a lot of other events that end up paying me more money later down the line. And I remember that was when I was a local speaker. And then all of a sudden I kept doing these local gigs, and somebody asked me to come speak in Pennsylvania, right? And then somebody asked me to come speak in Delaware. See, I was like, okay, well, how do you become a national speaker? How do you do that? I'm sick of speaking locally. But at the same time, when I was bitching and moaning and complaining about being a local speaker, because I'm always pushing the envelope and I'm never satisfied and I'm never settling for mediocrity, you know what? In the back of my mind, I was like, you know what? I'm grateful for this local booking. I'm grateful for this school that's only paying me $250. See, I'm grateful for this school that's only paying me $350 or $700. And I had to do 3 assemblies. See, I can remember every single one of them 2,750 paid speaking engagements. I remember when I got on a plane to fly to Atlanta for $200 because I was still in broke, begging and desperation mode when it was one of the most horrible experiences of my life. But I was grateful to get that $200. I mean, if you're not hearing what I'm saying to you right now about being grateful about where you are right now, forget about tomorrow and forget about next week and forget about a year from now and forget about when you're going to be taking the stages as an international speaker, because a lot of you have that in the cards for you. You are going to go out here and take over, and you're going to dominate. You just got to learn the game, just like I had to learn. So then it was a point when the Pennsylvania turned into a New Jersey, and I just kept going up the Eastern Seaboard. See, I didn't know nothing about going to the Midwest. I didn't know nothing about getting on the plane, going to the West Coast to speak. And all of a sudden, you speak in New York and you speak in New Jersey, and all of a sudden somebody at a conference now, hey, listen, could you come to Chicago and do something for us? And then Chicago gets you to Detroit, and then Detroit gets you to Minnesota, and then Minnesota gets you to Utah, and all kinds of stuff is popping. Now you're like, damn, I'm going to places I don't even know how to pronounce the city that I'm going to, but I'm a national speaker. And all of a sudden, if you add up all the tour dates that I've done in my whole life, New York has been the place that I have toured and been to the most. I have literally visited and been to New York tour dates in the music business combined with everything. I've probably been to New York at least 175 times, at least minimum. So I know about Canal Street. I know about Delancey Street. I know how to cut a deal. I know about Fashion Avenue. I know how they take you up in the little building when you want to get the throwback jerseys and you want to get some fresh jeans that typically cost $120. You can get those same jeans for $25 right there when the man takes you upstairs and they open up. It's like a big room with boxes of stuff, all discounted. And I'm like, wow, this is why I like coming to New York, because the sales and the energy of the city, I love it all. So I'm in New York one time and I'm waiting for somebody to ask a question. And I'm just trying to tell you this story about being grateful, because a lot of times we complain because we don't have this, we don't have that. We want to accelerate the process. I understand, I get it. I've been there before. Here's some stuff I want right now. But understand, we're all governed by the laws of timing. So I'm on a rigorous tour schedule at this stage in my career. I really learned how to facilitate. See, these opportunities in the action like a pinball machine. You don't get your business to start popping until you become really good. See, they're not booking me because I'm horrible. See, they see the value, just like you see the value in me as a speaker coach. Well, it's a whole lot of conference coordinators saw the value in me as a professional speaker. So what started happening was I ended up going to New York one time, one of the many times that I've been there. And I remember, because I always like to do something special during my presentations. So it's like a Modell's, like probably like 3 or 4 blocks from my venue that I'm performing at. It's a ballroom with like 1,500 meeting planners. I'm doing this thing called a speaker showcase. Some lady with a really heavy Italian accent, she walks over to me and she says, Kevin, would you be interested in flying to North Miami to Johnson & Wales University? And, we're picking the best trainers in the US to do this project, this management and leadership project we're doing overseas. Are you interested? I said, we're talking about going overseas. Now I had not yet, at that stage in my career, I had not yet been overseas performing out of the country. So of course I was like, lady, you hell yeah, I'm getting on that plane. Wendy, and whatever, I don't know what I had on my calendar, but whatever I had on there, I was gonna cancel it. A tour date, I don't give a damn what it was. I was going to go there because, see, I'm all about the leverage of building my brand, and I wanted to go globally from day one. And these things don't happen by accident, ladies and gentlemen. They happen because you have to have a vision up here about how you want it to be. And this is not a promise to you. I can guarantee you the things you're thinking about right now to grow your speaker business, you're going to be able to accomplish every last one of them, as long as you build it out the right way. When you're in the vortex, when you're in the zone, right? It's a get ready to get ready to get ready to get ready to get ready moment. All you're doing is getting ready for the next moment. And the moment I was getting ready for, unbeknownst to me, was traveling overseas. One speaking engagement took me to over 30 plus countries. And I had an amazing time doing it. I'm talking jaw-dropping scenery, some stuff I've never seen before. As a little kid from Capitol Heights, Maryland, I never dreamed that I thought I was going to be able to take it that far. And believe me, it's far from over. Because if you think you think I'm done touring, you are sadly mistaken. So I'm telling you that it starts with being grateful at the local level, then the regional level, then the national, and you will become international if that's what you choose to do. You have to be in it for the long haul. Speaking is a marathon. Build your business the right way. Take the time to learn the skill set. Work on the opportunities that are going to come to you, and then you can seize those opportunities when they come along. So, let me see. Well, I'm going to do a 1, 2, 3 countdown, and if nobody else has any more questions, we're going to wrap the session tonight because, I got some December Christmas things that I want to do. And I also have some other writing that I need to do, some other work that I'm catching up on. Finishing up the year strong as Speaker Focus is what we are all about around here. So questions, Q&A session is going to wind down. If no one has any other questions, going once, going 2 times, going 3 times, and we are going to wrap up tonight's weekly Q&A. If you have any additional questions, don't hesitate to reach out to support@speakerfocus.com. Log into the private coaching group through School. You can ask your questions through there. Upload any homework assignments. Keep focusing on the things you need to focus on. Finish up the video modules. And I'll be talking to you again next Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Same place, same time. I'm Kevin T. Robertson on behalf of the staff and Auston Troyer at speakerfocus.com. We truly appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, I'm sorry. No, Thanksgiving's over. So I'm going to go officially into happy holiday season for you. I know you've already heard the Christmas carols ringing on your local radio station. Take care of one another until the next time I see you. I love you all, and stay focused on your goals and your dreams.